From Jordan and Pippen to Magic and Kareem to Shaq and Kobe, several NBA champions have had notable duos. Unfortunately, not every dynamic duo has succeeded in their quest to become NBA champions. So I thought it would be pretty interesting to take a look at the 10 greatest NBA duos that never won a ring. But before I get into this video, if you guys enjoy NBA and basketball content, be sure to hit that subscribe button, also smash that like button. Let's try to hit 100 likes on this video, that would be amazing, but let's get into it. Number 10, Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. In 2004, the then NBA sophomore Yao Ming managed to end a 6-season playoff drought in Houston. Later that summer, the Rockets were lucky enough to acquire the 2-time scoring champion Tracy McGrady. And just like that, one of the greatest duos was ever formed. In their first season together, Yao averaged 18 points a game, followed by 8 rebounds and 2 blocks. Tracy, on the other hand, averaged 25.7 points a game, with 6.2 rebounds and 5.7 assists. Unfortunately, from the 2005 NBA season until Tracy McGrady was traded to the New York Knicks, the two rarely shared the court for long periods of time. Yao had to deal with a lot of foot injuries and McGrady had some back problems. Together, they never managed to win a playoff series, but Yao Ming was able to win a series when Tracy McGrady was sidelined versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Whenever you have two Hall of Famers on the same team, great things usually happen. It's just a shame that this superstar duo never got to fulfill their potential. Number 9, Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson. On June 17, 1992, the Phoenix Suns shocked the NBA when they traded Charles Barkley for Jeff Hornacek, Andrew Lang, and Tim Perry. Barkley had been seemingly wasting his generational talent on a bad Philadelphia team for pretty much his entire career. But this meant that the round mound of rebound would be playing alongside one of the NBA's premier point guards in Kevin Johnson. In their first season together, Barkley and Kevin Johnson led the Phoenix Suns to an NBA Finals appearance, but they would eventually lose to the Chicago Bulls. They would never make the finals again, and neither player would go on to win an NBA championship. And similar to Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady, this duo was never able to live up to the hype and the expectations placed on them. And obviously Charles Barkley is known as one of the greatest players to never win a ring. Number 8, Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. What if I told you the league's 2 leading scorers had teamed up on the same team? A championship is practically guaranteed, right? Well, that's not exactly what happened in Denver. When Carmelo Anthony received a 15-game suspension during the 2006-2007 NBA season, the Nuggets looked for another volume scorer to add to the roster, and luckily they were able to acquire the former MVP and future Hall of Famer in Allen Iverson. They traded Andre Miller, Joe Smith, and 2 second-round picks in the deal. Now Iverson before the trade was logging some of the best shooting percentages and some of the best assist totals of his career. But the second he arrived in the Mile High City, his stats began to drop. A big part of this could have been due to the loss of Andre Miller, who was the team's only true playmaker, and the offense really never built up a lot of chemistry. In the 2 seasons these two superstars played together, they were never able to make it out of the first round and never really got close to winning a title. But nevertheless, the amount of hype that these two players generated for the Denver Nuggets qualifies them as great. Now from my experiences, I moved to Colorado in mid-2007, and getting to watch the insane duo of Allen Iverson and Melo was truly a great experience. Number 7, Allen Iverson and Dikembe Mutombo. So when an NBA MVP and a future Hall of Famer team up, it's hard not to like the championship chances of a team that has transcended talent on both ends of the floor. That was the case with Allen Iverson and Dikembe Mutombo. Dikembe would go on to be a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year and also was inducted to the NBA Hall of Fame. Together, Iverson and Mutombo led the 76ers to a finals berth. However, they lost to Kobe and Shaq's Lakers in 5 games. The following year, this duo would lose to Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker and the Boston Celtics in the first round, and once again, the duo of AI and Dikembe never won a championship. Number 6, Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp. In 1989, the Seattle Supersonics drafted the freakishly athletic forward in Shawn Kemp, and the following year, they went ahead and drafted the future Hall of Fame point guard Gary Payton, laying the foundation for a team that could be great. Over a 6-year span with Payton and Kemp at the helm with coach George Karl, the Sonics won 357 games and finished with the best record in the Western Conference 4 times. However, these Sonics teams have had a pretty big share of blemishes over the years. They lost to the Chicago Bulls in the finals, and they also became the very first number 1 seed to ever lose to a number 8 seed in the NBA playoffs. What's sad is that neither Gary Payton nor Shawn Kemp's jerseys were retired by the Seattle Supersonics, despite leading them to an NBA Finals appearance. But once again, these two phenomenal players played together for many years and never ever were able to bring a ring to Seattle. Number 5, Steve Nash and Amare Stoudemire. So one of the most well-known and modern duos on this list, these two superstars were the faces of one of the most entertaining teams in NBA history. Now, although they never made it past the Western Conference Finals, this duo's impact was so huge that the 7 seconds or less offense shaped the current pace and space of the NBA today. So Steve Nash was obviously the 2-time MVP and offensive maestro he was, and Amare Stoudemire was, at the time, one of the greatest finishers in the game. In fact, Stoudemire was named to several All-NBA teams during his playing career. Now, in the 6 years they played together, they went on to have a winning percentage of 67%, which isn't bad at all. Now, before Steve Nash had arrived in Phoenix, the Suns were struggling and had only won 29 games. He quickly improved the franchise by improving their record by 33 wins. Over the course of their time together, Stoudemire averaged 23 points and 9 rebounds a game, while Steve Nash added 17 points and 11 assists per game. Now, although Nash and Amare both retired without any championship titles, their legacy will always be remembered with their flashy and efficient offense. Many teams today, like the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets, play a similar brand of basketball like the Phoenix Suns did back in the 2000s. But unfortunately, for Stat and Steve Nash, they were never able to bring home the one thing missing from their mantles, an NBA title. Number 4, Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. Now, in the early 1990s, Shaq was clearly a once-in-a-generation talent, and Penny Hardaway was drawing some comparisons to the great Magic Johnson. Together, they brought a lot of hope to an expansion team in Orlando by making it to the 1995 NBA Finals, where they were defeated by Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. In the 3 years Shaq and Penny were teammates, they became superstars, winning 167 games. Now, in 1996, Shaq decided to move to the LA Lakers after a perceived lowball by the Magic front office. And once he arrived in LA, as we all know, he would team up with one of the greatest shooting guards in NBA history, Kobe Bryant. Meanwhile, Penny suffered a bunch of injuries, including a devastating knee injury in the 97-98 season, and after that, he was never quite the same player. Now, their time together may have been short-lived, but in their 3 seasons together, these two superstars took the NBA by storm and stole the limelight. Even today, Shaq and Penny are remembered as one of the most exciting young duos the NBA has ever seen, and they even made a 30 for 30 about them. Number 3, Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. Now, this is easily one of the most unknown duos that never won a ring. When we think of Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, we think of the great Lakers franchise back in the 60s and 70s with players like Wilt Chamberlain. But West and Baylor accomplished so much despite never winning a ring. During their time together, they transformed the Minneapolis Lakers into the LA Lakers dynasty we know today. Elgin Baylor was a special talent that helped develop the LA Lakers into a powerhouse. A couple years later, the LA Lakers were able to draft Jerry West with the 2nd overall pick in the 1960 NBA draft. Now, although West was lacking size and at the time lacking a handle, his confidence was unmatched and unparalleled, and that's what gave him the nickname as Mr. Clutch. Now, together, Baylor and West appeared in 8 NBA Finals, but lost to the Celtics 7 times and once to the New York Knicks. Now, Baylor had to retire early in the Now, Baylor unfortunately retired early in the 1971-1972 NBA season, and without him, the Lakers would go on to set the NBA record by winning 33 games in a row, and would go on to win the NBA Finals with Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain leading the way. Now, despite not being an active player on the team, Elgin Baylor was still awarded a championship ring from the Lakers. Now, obviously, Baylor wasn't on the team, so it was a consolation prize, but Baylor did a lot to contribute to the championship, even though he didn't play for the championship team. But man, 8 finals and no rings? That's pretty crazy. Number 2, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. It's a very rare sight for an NBA team to have 2 MVP caliber players in their primes. In fact, this team had 3 MVP caliber players when they were young, but I'm sure Thunder fans would like to forget about that. Despite their differences, the duo of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook was truly one of the greatest we have ever seen. Now, although they don't have a ring to show for it, they accomplished a lot in their time together. They played together for 8 years, they made it to the finals once, they in fact had a 3-1 lead against the Golden State Warriors in the 2016 NBA playoffs, and they were 1 game away from facing the Cavaliers in the NBA Finals, but they were unable to clutch up and win the series. Now, obviously, I don't have to go too in depth in what they accomplished because I'm sure most of you guys already know. Westbrook did win a scoring title with Durant. Durant won MVP in 2014. One season, both of these players averaged 25 points per game, which is absolutely crazy, and they were easily one of the most exciting duos I have ever watched in my life. Unfortunately, KD's decision to leave OKC left NBA fans around the world just stunned and shocked, to say the very least. It was one of the most notable, if not the most notable NBA breakup in NBA history, and the drama between Westbrook and Durant was pretty entertaining throughout the NBA season. But man, it would have been amazing to see this talented duo win a championship for the state of Oklahoma. And number 1, no surprises here, John Stockton and Karl Malone. When discussing the greatest NBA duos to never win a ring, Stockton and Malone should immediately come to mind. These two played together for 18 seasons, they made the playoffs 18 times, and never won fewer than 42 games. Now, although they didn't make the finals 8 times like Elgin Baylor and Jerry West did, they did make the finals twice. Both Malone and Stockton became the NBA's all-time leaders in major statistical categories, and both had Hall of Fame careers. But unfortunately, they ran into the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan, and they were unable to bring home the hardware. But if Michael Jordan didn't exist, I'm pretty certain that this duo would have definitely won a ring. Karl Malone is the 2nd leading scorer in NBA history, and Stockton has the NBA record for most assists in a career. But looking back at the careers of Stockton and Malone, it feels like the fact that they don't have a ring overshadows everything they've ever accomplished. So that is going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We just took a look at the 10 greatest NBA duos that never won a ring. Let me know what you think about this list in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if I forgot any duos. But one more thing I want to address before I head out of this video is I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in a very long time, and that's because I've just been focused on school. I've had my last month of school, but finally it's over and I'm done with school. So this summer I'm just going to be grinding out YouTube, grinding out NBA videos, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to upload a video every other day, but we'll see how my schedule looks, and if I can upload every other day, that would be amazing. But once again, I just want to thank you guys for all the support. It's been absolutely insane. We are so close to 20,000 subscribers, so if we can hit that within the next couple of weeks, that would be amazing. But that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.